Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. So, hello. We're starting out today by making our bass sampler instrument a little bit more versatile, because I'd like to use it in situations that are more just the drop, that being the intro and build-up and all of those that precede the drop. So today's plan is to develop those sections, but we're going to start out by preparing the instruments so that we can quickly program these things in, quickly get the ideas out. So we're starting out by the one thing I had done before we started today. It's going through this bass slices kit. I'm just making sure that you can hear it. Yep, good here. And what I did is I took this particular sample and I cloned it, and then I made a reverse, or I right-clicked in the sample and I reversed it. So we get a reverse version of this, so I can do something like this. And that might not be the only one I want to do it with. I'd like to get other couple sounds that I use quite often in this mix. That one I'd like to have a reverse version of. There's a couple in here. Thinking of moving some as well. Let's move this one up here. So this one can be over here. Of course, this is going to change some of the bass lines I'd already programmed out, but that's not going to be a problem because I resampled them to audio. So I played the notes how I wanted them to sound, or how in the order that I wanted them to be, and then I recorded it out using Ableton's resampling feature. So me changing the notes around on this bass slices track will not alter. They'll alter these clips, of course, if they use the notes I'm moving, but if it's recorded on audio, it's not really going to matter. So moving this stuff around is not going to have an impact on that. So a little bit of reorganization is fine. This one I'm going to move up next to that other similar sounding. Yeah, maybe these two. Move you up. That. Those are now I'm gonna make a reverse version of this one. So make a new clip here and then just right click and reverse. Awesome. And they're still all in the same choke group, so if I play this note, if I play the forward version of it, it's going to cut off the reverse version, which is what I want, so I can have like that notes that lead into it. This one might be a cool one to have a reverse version of as well. What I'm going to do is move that there, so I have those two next to each other, and then I want to have that like that, and those two next to each other. Adjust it so it's so I have a little bit less room, or it starts a little bit closer to the note, so I can play it like quickly. And this one as well, right? Yeah, that's good. Now let's make a reverse version of that, because that's got a nice tail end to it. You can see all that stuff at the end there. That might sound cool if it was used as a sort of a sweep in effect. It's still got that fade out at the end. I'm actually going to get rid of that now because I want that to... Okay, so perhaps I'll even bring it forward a bit. That's about good. Let's make this have a fade in a little bit longer. Yeah, nice. Okay. One more. One of these. One of these. One of these could do it. Or both, actually. I'm going to try to organize them. This one as well. Okay, so this one, and this one. So I'll make a copy of that. Where's the sample? Now we have this. We got quite a bit of silence before the note actually starts, so I might trim the start to where we actually get a lot of sound. And I'm going to get rid of the fade out because we want it to play all the way to the end. That's kind of cool. Nice. Yeah. So we can do that with it now. And then this one, I'll do the same treatment. Reverse. Let's see what we got here. Whoa. Ho, ho, ho. Turn on warp, maybe? That'll change the way it sounds. Actually, only if it changes pitch, though. Well, wait, I can... Ah! I can extend it out as well. And depending on which warp mode I choose, it'll sound a little bit different. So, if I do it based on beats, it's not going to sound the greatest because it's... If I do it based on beats, this is meant to be if you're slowing down a drum loop. It kind of preserves the sound of the individual drums themselves rather than slowing it all down. But this is like more of a bass sound, so perhaps want to use like re-pitch or texture or tones even. I also want it to get all the way to the end here instead of cut off at a zero crossing like it's doing now. So to prevent that from happening, over here we have a little button called snap. As long as this is on, the sample end will snap to a zero crossing so that it has a clean cutoff. I'm actually going to disable that because I want it to reach all the way to the end here, and I'll just add a fade to get around that issue. So yeah, so now it's going to go all the way to the end, but it's going to click as it turns off because if we zoom all the way in here at this sample, this audio sample, in fact, you know what? It might be fine because it looks like it reaches 0 here. But we want the sample to stop whenever the dots, like whenever the level of the audio is like around the middle here. This is like volume on the left and volume on the right and so forth. So yeah, we want that to stop in the middle. But I'll turn that off. Fade out's just gonna bypass that issue, so no. And I'll do a shorter one with this. So first, get rid of that fade out, or at least make it a lot shorter. Turn off the snapping. Fade it in a little bit. And let's get a look, see at where it starts. Cool. Okay. So now we can have a little more flexibility with that. Next thing I'd like to do is figure out exactly what we have already. What is this? What is on this resampling track right now? Ah, this was record ready when it wasn't supposed to be. That's why. So there's something there when it shouldn't. Okay. What I'm gonna do is group these two together. Call it the lead. Oh, not Lee. Can't type. Lead. And then I could just go in and yeah, they both have filter controls. So I will just move this filter onto here. There are a lot of low energy in this one. That's, yeah, a lot of noise in this one here. I'm gonna throw an EQ on it just to get rid of that kind of stuff down there. Yeah, see all that? That's what I'm hearing, all that low stuff. We don't need that in the lead. There we go. And when I bring the filter up, sounds glitchy on purpose. Let's come up with. I don't want to get right into this melody at the beginning of the song. I want to kind of have it happen here during the chorus, or maybe it can be hinted at by like one of these. It'll come out here, so the frequency will be down, and then come up. And then we'll have something else happening. So we'll do like an arpeggio that has another melody to it. We could. It's an option. I'll try it. Let's experiment, shall we? I'm thinking other things to comprise this intro. So how's this song gonna start out, right? It's gonna get into this. Of course, that's by no means the final version. Also, I have some things on that shouldn't be on. I have bass slices on. That's why I'm hearing this. Yeah, but I'm definitely going to try and record a new bass line with these reverse samples, because I could probably make something a lot more interesting with that. So we'll get there. But for now, I want to lead into it. Okay. This lead sound should really go in the melody group, shouldn't it? It should. I think it should. Okay. Also, quick cleanup here. Do that. Nice feature of Ableton is if you're making new tracks, it kind of defaults everything to the color blue. Or I don't know if there's a way to change the default color of a track. Probably is. I'm probably missing something obvious, but you can do this shortcut here if you right click on a group and go all the way down the bottom. Assign the track color to grouped tracks and clips, and that makes all of the clips and the tracks in the same color, or all of the tracks in the group and the clips on those tracks the same color, which is nice for organization purposes. Here too, I'd like to so I can just go to the group that all of it's in, select this color, and go here. And same for drums. I can see there's some blue ones in here, so I'll go ahead and do that and that. Okay, it's been cleaned up. Let's go. Let's move this, or let's delete this MIDI track. And let's go into Massive X. Let's actually, let's go into, there should be a Massive X here as well, yes. Let's go into the Massive X that's on the melody group, and we're going to delve into this synth a little bit. This is a wonderful synth by Native Instruments. If you're getting into production, you're looking for things to, looking for plugins to get you started. Native Instruments is pretty much, the Native Instruments complete package, or at least this synthesizer, if not the original version. I got a text, hold on. Campaign stuff. Why am I getting texts from the... Never mind that. Yeah, so this is a great synth by Native Instruments. I should probably move my face. I can show you the library that this is a part of. So if I go to my plugins here, into the Native Instruments folder, you see that the complete, it starts with a K, comes with all this stuff. So we got EQs, transient shapers, distortion, overdrive, dynamics. So that's a multi-band dynamic compressor, bus comp, so just another compressor replica, which is a delay I really like. Samplers, or actually these are synthesizers where you can kind of build your own synth. It's very, very in depth. Massive and Massive X, two very famous synths. Massive X is quite new though, and it's getting better. It's getting much, much better as it goes on. I had gotten this at the very beginning of its development, and at that time, the envelope, when you move this stuff around, when you change these parameters, the envelope icon or the image didn't actually change. It was a static image that just showed you like what an envelope looks like. But when you change these parameters, nothing happened to the image. But they fixed that, so it's good again. So yeah, we're going to be using this to create a little bit of an arpeggio for us today. We're going to start by we could go in and build everything from scratch. We have the ability to change the internal routings of the synth. Even we can change what things go to, like for example, let me explain what I mean. So in Serum, the synth that I have been using, let me find a Serum instance. I think there's one in this pad. Oh, no, that's a sample. We'll go up to our bass. I know we have one here. So we go into an instance of Serum, you'll see we have oscillators, we have a sub, we have a noise. So these are our sound sources, right? We have our sub sound source, our noise sound source, and then our two oscillators that are providing our sound. And they all go into the filter here. But you have these buttons here that allow you to select which ones go into the filter. So this is kind of like how you would control routing in Serum, or one of the ways you can control the routing in Serum is by choosing which ones go to the filter or which ones bypass the filter. And then after that, everything, all of the stuff on this page goes into the effects engine afterwards. So it goes into this page, it goes through all of these. so it's routed, and it also it goes, everything goes to the filter, and then it goes through the effects based on which order they're in. So it goes first through the hyperdimension, then distortion, then flanger, then filter, EQ, compressor, reverb. Goes through all of those stages one after the other. However, you can change this order, and it will actually change the sound. Like it'll apply the compressor before the reverb or after the reverb. That makes a huge difference, particularly because then you're compressing the reverberated sound. So you get a lot thicker of a sound, which would a lot different of a sound, which you might not, or you might want. So that's kind of how routing in Serum works, but Massive X kind of allows you to sort of take that apart, and you're kind of stuck within that routing and the effects chain. But let's say you wanted one of the oscillators in your sound sources to bypass the effects chain entirely. Well, you can't really do that in Serum. Can here, because you have the ability to take the oscillator, which is right here, and draw a line to any of the sources you want. And you, like right here, you can see that oscillator 1 is going into A, as well as oscillator 2, and the noise, which is our noise sound source right here. Here's 2 over here. They're all going into A. Well, where is A? A is over here. A is an effect. So we can choose between any of those, and we can choose which oscillators and which sound sources go into A. And we can also choose, and then A goes into F, which is the filter, and then that goes into B. But I could change any of these connections around anywhere, and I could make it in any order I wanted. You can also, in XYZ, there is a way to do some sort of parallel processing here, where you can have it go either into X, then Y, then Z, which is called serial, meaning one goes into the next, goes into the next. And then you have this one, which is, it goes into X and Y, and then goes into Z. And then you have X plus Y plus Z, which is all of them in parallel. So this whole chain will go into all the effects at once and then sum together afterwards. So in many ways you could set this up, but that's not what it's about. The stream's about as much today. So I'd like to just kind of pick a patch and let's go. Let's get a sound happening here. So cool thing about Massive X, great thing is for especially for beginners, is that it's got plenty of very well made presets that you can use as like starting points to make your own sound, and also to learn about how sounds are made. Like you can pick this one here, for example, anterior resonance. Let's see how that sounds. And then we can go through and be like, all right, well, how is this made? And you can see bars here. So all of these knobs are automated by a certain, so based on the color, it shows you what it's being automated by. Like, for example, this wave, this is a wave table here. It's being modulated by P1 and 1. 1 is the macro up at the top. So we have 4 macros in Serum, but this one, Massive X, has 16 macros. Why? I don't know. But it has 16 macros, and you can assign a bunch of stuff to all the macros, and you could just have a patch that like drastically changes with the turn of 1 knob or 16 knobs. It leaves it quite up to you. So got some modulation going on here. You can either change the wavetable position, it looks like with macro 1, or P1, which is a performer. It's like an LFO. It gives you a shape. So what you'll notice that it's going to progress through this wavetable according to this curve here, right? And then Performer 2, a similar curve, but starts up a little bit higher. So you can start to kind of dissect this patch if you wanted to. But this is not exactly the sound we're going for. So let's keep looking. I'm going to look in mallet instruments. nice. So it looks like we got a filter. And we can start to mess with the parameters here. This is this effect right here. I think it would be cool if this modulated as well. So I'll show you a little bit of modulation here. I'm going to grab an LFO. So this one particularly is LFO 4. Drag it onto the pitch. And then I'm going to increase the range a little bit. And we get a interesting sound here. Choose different shapes. And let's also make the rate be something that is, let's see, free sync. So we want it to be with the beat. Let's get the appropriate section here. Okay, I don't like the filter anymore. I don't like it anymore. Yeah. Let's maybe use an envelope instead. So something that sweeps down once but doesn't repeat. So that way we can use it more like a pluck. All right, so we'll try using, which one's not being used already? Well, I guess we could do envelope 2. And also M. Okay, it looks like the mod wheel is controlling the transient. Alright, nice. I want to change Oscillator 2's sound. If it's in tune or 7 semitones up like it was. What if this modulated? Or if it was controlled by a macro, perhaps? We have a filter on it as well. Put FM on it. An envelope on the filter as well. I'm experimenting here. I'm starting to come up with something here. let's just record it in, and then we can mess with the notes manually. Like that. Try using an arpeggiator to do it for me. That might make something more interesting than I am capable of coming up with right now, apparently. Alright. Let's add that then, shall we? Arpeggiator, forehand, and then we can just hold down chords. Yay! I want it to be a downward motion, so we'll choose that. That'll be much easier to just draw it in myself. Okay, let's make it so it's a the entire length, or just half the length actually, is all that's needed. And then insert the MIDI clip. And now let's just record something actually. It's gonna be much easier to do that. Oops. That's recording in the wrong place. 2, 3. I'd also set it to clip view, or clip mode. I'm not going to get into that. Well, okay. I'll just explain what happened. What just happened. There's another record button over here that's like empty, or empty in the middle, and what that does is we'll record into... Yeah, you see it recorded a little clip here. It will record into this view and record onto the scenes here rather than the arrangement view. So I want to make sure that when I'm in this view, I'm using this record button here. 2, 3, 4. And then I could take all of these notes and just quantize it to something like that. And we can just remove all of these extra small notes that are not necessary. And then we can start from, of course, have to have some notes here as well. So let's do maybe a C major 7 chord here. But I'm going to skip out on the 5th. Right there has to be a chord change. So we get a E major 7. Well, we have the 5, the 7, and actually the 3rd here. We're missing the E. Might as well throw it in. See how it sounds. It's going to be a chord change on 4 here, though. pick a different, I'll repeat it. Here, let's do this. Get rid of all of these. I'll repeat this whole thing, but I'll vary up the notes the second half. Let's check the notes here. It's a dominant. Aha. Yeah, that's right. I used a dominant there. So I need to change this to a B. Okay. One of these notes, so it's a triplet pattern, or not triplet pattern, but 3 notes, a 3-note pattern. Oh, let's move the B up here. And the difference here is now it's a E minor 7 chord, so it's going to be E, G, B, G, D, so I want to have a D in there somewhere. Or do I? We'll see if this works just as is. Or I'll move this up here. We'll see. That'll work. Yeah, that'll work nicely. Now I can mess with the arpeggiator some. And the parameters. The other cool thing about SFX is when I load it up, all of the macros, I might have configured this myself, but all of the macros are immediately available in Ableton. I don't have to go through to configure them. So I can just mess with the that sounds cool. Let's expand this out. I want this parameter, the release. So this could come up here and then come back down. Let's hear this. Maybe faster. That's not exactly faster, is it? Let's do that instead. Other thing is this has to be filtered out here, so let's turn the frequency down. Let's take the envelope and the filter off, or at least lessen it. push only has 8 knobs. And it says 16 macros. Oh my gosh, first world problems. So I want to... I'll have to do it in Ableton then. I'll have to do it from this screen. Macro 9 is going to control... Gosh, I forgot what I was just put it on. What did I just put it on? I just put it on the decay. I need to name this. Can I name it? Oh, I can't. Oh yeah, I can. There we go. This is decay. So now I can mess with that on the fly. Cool. Just seeing where this sound could go. Okay, nice. So it'll start out something like that. Also make sure it's not giving out too many low frequencies. It is. Set a compressor on it as well. It's a little much right now. Let's throw a bit of OTT on this. So in multiband dynamics, OTT, just slam it a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot. I'm going to make sure that I compress after this happens so that whatever I do with the OTT will be heard. So. This OTT is compressing the reverb, which is why I if I turn that all the way down, all of a sudden it sounds kind of lame. Gotta be eighth notes. What if it was a different order, though? I like converge, actually. serve us quite well. So we'll do ARP 1, and all right, so let's see about making some drums happen for this section now. First of all, we want a crash right at the beginning. Or maybe we don't. But maybe we definitely want a crash coming in at measure 5. So it's going to go through the melody once. And then it'll start to come out a little bit more. And then get into kind of the main groove here, or at least for a little while. It's going to get quickly into the drop on this one. So let's just first start. Let's bring this back. Or bring this back, actually. Nope. How about this? With a different pattern with it. I'll have that. Getting there. Let's do something like that. 2, 3, 4. I think we might need another kit for this because we need some better drum sounds. I believe. How you call these crashes, but apparently they're crashes. It's like a glitch. This one might actually be nice. Okay, new kit. 808. That's nice. Impacts. Now these are the sound effects I'm looking for. That's nice. Really long, really long clap. I'll take that. Of course, I could also make one of these myself by just grabbing any old kick sample and just throwing a ton of reverb on it, and maybe a delay as well. I just want the beginning of this. Oops, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I just want to slice this up and take the beginning bit. I suppose we could do that in the drum rack, couldn't we? Let's get some more, I like these sounds. Let's look at That's nice. I'll show you what I plan to do with these in a second. I just want to get some shakers and upper sounds for my main kit, so I could kind of create like a topper loop full of things. I might even just create a different kit for this. Yeah. We'll move them into number 5 because I'm gonna make number 5 similar to how I've been making the bass loops. I'm gonna create a drum rack full of clips. Full of samples, and they're going to cut each other off because I don't want that happening in our. I don't want that particularly to happen in the main kit. We could do it in the main kit and just add things to different choke groups if we wanted, but I would like to process the hi-hats differently as well. I'd like to add on a lot of compression and reverb and all that, and I don't want that to affect my kick and snare, so I'm going to keep it separate. With our impacts as well, I might want to even separate out. We've got this kindified kit that we're using some of the sounds from. We're going to combine it with this track here, 5. I'm actually going to create a duplicate before I go any further. On that same note that I want to process the hi-hats and stuff differently, I should separate out the impact effects and transition effects. I'll call this trans effects. No, that could mean transient as well. Transition effects. And this is going to be hi-hats or topper samples. So in this kit, I'm going to get rid of Havoc Impact and Crash. And we're going to claps down here, percussion, and here you can get rid of this track as well. I'd also like to combine this with a pre-made loop as well. Let's see if I can find one that's nice. Is there a loop section here? Let's look in the percussions. These little ones are nice. These are kind of the ones I'm looking for. And we could also do stuff like use samples that aren't particularly made for hi-hats. Like go into and some effects kits that are nice for this. You know, there's some of these are like specialized. I want to look for just like general like sounds here. So let's look through here. Ooh, well, killer impacts and risers. I don't want to use too many of things like these because I don't want to feel like I'm cheating. So I'm looking for like this I know particularly. This I know particularly was a was a free kit. So. Hey, that's not bad. Nice hi-hat there. Nope. Nope. Sliness. These particular samples for so long. Transitions, well. These are like movie, for stuff for like movies and like. You know, let's not do that. Let's make our own. Let's make our own transition effect. So, how about it? Let's just do that. I can't find anything that's particularly what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna make it myself. We'll do it with a massive. Why don't we? So let's start out by giving ourselves a noise oscillator. And I want the pitch of this one to also be modulated, so let's use an envelope, or actually we'll use a performer to do it. So we'll modulate the wavetable shape, and we'll also modulate the pitch up an octave. So over time, well, I should make it reach to bar, or maybe 2 bars worth. And I want it to get to the max over that time. Let's curve it a bit. Let's see if we can make. Okay, this will allow us to draw in certain shapes, but I think we've already got what we're looking for here. You can also use a filter and automate some other things with it. Jitter. That might be nice to bring in. Okay, let's try that. Trust me, this might not sound too particularly exciting at this point, but it's just going to be layer after layer of stuff like this. So let's also make the envelope so that I think the volume envelope is here. Make the attack much longer, and also make the performer restart with the note. So initialize. How would I exactly be able to do that? I could just use an envelope over here instead of a performer. Yeah, I could do that. Because I don't see a way to make it re-trigger. Okay, so let's not do a performer. Let's do an envelope instead. Hopefully I can just drag it over top. Yes. No. Actually, I don't want to do envelope 1. I want to do envelope 2. Envelope 1 is being used for volume. So I'm going to instead use an envelope. Of course, it's going to start going downwards, so I have to reverse the direction of all of this automation so that it goes backwards, right? So it starts up here and then automates down, or it starts all the way at the end here and then curves back up to here. So I need to do that with each of the automation parameters here. For this one, let's make the jitter start at about right at 0, and we're still missing the pitch, so we actually need to bring this one and now we can adjust the decay. And let's also use PM, so this will change pulse modulation, so this will change the sound of this wavetable. And that might sound cool to bring in. Real quick, I'm going to throw a compressor on the end of this, so maybe you guys can hear it a little bit better. Not the prettiest. Let's do something interesting here. Let's make it so that the pitch of wavetable 2 of oscillator 2 modulates downwards instead of upwards, or modulates from an upper pitch down to. So we get sort of a THX effect, except not really, because this one's getting messed up by jitter. But if we lowered it down to a 7th, I think we get the effect we're after. I think you get the familiar effect. I have to play a chord actually. Oh my god. Let's lower the delay. Cool, eh? I think we can make that sound a little better if we use a filter. Slowly brought that in. How about using the PM? Yeah, and I want that to really come out at the end. So what we're going to do is use another modulation envelope here rather than what was there. And I'm going to have a different shape, different delay on this. But I want the PM 1 is level to come up. It's going to start down and then modulate up to like around 26. Also have an attack. No, never mind. change the... Starts to get really intense at the end there. And then maybe we could bring in some effects at the end so that it kind of goes... When it gets that harsh, maybe we start to bring in like a little bit of filter motion as well. So that would go like that. So for that we can use... I got it. We can use LFO4 to modulate the frequency, but then we could use envelope 3. Oh, can we? Oh, yeah, we can use envelope 3 to modulate the level of LFO4. It's LFO4 is over here. So what I'm going to do is use envelope 2, that's controlling a lot of stuff, and I'm going to use that to, so we'll start the level at 0, and then we'll start the level all the way up, and then start at 0. And then whenever I play the note, or I have to modulate something with the filter first. So as I hold down the note, the filter should start to come in, or the filter sweeps should start to come in. What's the range on this? No range. Well, that might help. I want this to be like... I also kind of want the rate to increase. Or, oh, that might be cool too. It could start out fast. It could start out up as well as fast and then get more and more open. Like this. That might be cool. More dramatic. Maybe a different filter shape. Or this. Also, there is a fade in for the filter as well. How about a different filter? Well, that makes a huge difference, doesn't it? High resonance as well. Make the jitter go a little higher. And then this could do something as well. Turn PM on and... And finally, for the final touch, we'll add in some noise. And make that noise bypass the filter. So here's an example of why I'd want to modify the routing. So I just double click this. I'm going to send the noise to let's see, to B instead. And now the noise noise does not follow that pattern. And I'm going to modulate the pitch up with LFO 2. And the level as well. Oops, wrong way. I'm going to bring down these as well at the end. So they're going to start up, modulate down, because I do want it to start out like this, but I want it to kind of fade to just noise at the end. Like that. What about a different type of noise? China ride. What? You know, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Oh, it's supposed to be a China ride cymbal. Duh. Okay, I did say that was the final touch, but I do want to add one more thing, and that would be reverb. Like that. Or, wow, there's a lot of options. Hey, I like that one. It sounds really weird when you leave it up. Okay, let's take the mix of this and add it to envelope 2. Yeah. And then something will happen. Different idea. I'm editing this sample here to make it, I'm going to try to warp it to be like super long. Ooh. That. Why is that still playing out? All right, that's good. That's good. So those two samples are going to be at the beginning together. This one will be significantly lower. And all these samples, I'm going to use here. But I should get rid of them here. So WD after H. You just make sure that they're all where they should be. Shaker 1, HVC shaker. Okay, I think all these are here, so I can just remove. Remove that as well. Like you're underwater. That's cool. That's a cool atmosphere sound. I'm not going to use it though. I'm looking for effects. One's by Tisoki. These are. It's pretty useful. I might filter that out a bit though. Or fade it out. Wow, that is a super long sample. Fades out too fast. Okay, that'll be nice. Official Fortnite drum kit. Yes, that is a thing that I have. Ignore that. Oh, actually, no. You know what? Okay, no, we're not going to use those sounds, but we're going to use. There are some somewhat good sounds in here. Not gonna lie. Not that one. This is a throwback. Okay, enough of that. Enough of that. Let's look at percussion kit here. A track that I could just drag loops onto. Experiment. Gonna need some processing, like for example, if I can find what I am looking for, EQ and compressor. First of all, compressor to, okay, first of all, we can also normalize the sample, I believe, from this view. Can we not do it here? I thought you could just, that must just be in, yeah, that must just be in the sampler itself that I could normalize. I can't just normalize here. Shame. I can, however, boost it. By normalize, I mean make it maximum volume, like as loud as it can be in this clip. So what I'd like to do is have this only happen like boom, go, boom, pause. Follow the kind of the phrasing of the beat. Nice. Yeah. So then we based on that idea, we can start to like come up with some idea as another idea. We can use the contact samplers to find some nice percussion sounds in there, because I know that I particularly have some like ethnic drums that would, if we're going with this kind of vibe, which I'm pretty down to do. I think I can come up with some nice sort of toms and congos and bongos and stuff like that. Auxiliary percussion. Okay, contact right here. Dragging onto this. Another instance of that. Okay. We have India, first of all. We have some other things as well. Lots of piano things. West Africa. I'm going to check this one out. Discovery Series West Africa. Why is there nothing? Huh. Interesting. This one kind of glitched out, I guess. Uno momento. Yeah, it's right there. NKC. Interesting. Eh. Oh well. Let's look through this then. Some nice ethnic drums. Darn. What about then? Let's just kind of look. Aesthetic treats, which is nice. That's like toys and stuff. I'm not sure where they were. Balalaika? Let's see what this one is. I haven't loaded this one up in a while. Wow, and that's, yeah. That's not happening. Never mind then. Some of my instruments are broken. This one works, though. This one works. Single loops. Which one are we on? This one. I have to play it. It says it's a demo. Okay, well this worked. This worked before I updated. I guess I'll look somewhere else. Never mind about that. I'll fix all that stuff off camera. That's kind of really liked that library, and now it's broken. Oh well. Oh well. Man, I am. Let's look in here. Drum loops. Ah, well. No sub, kick it sub, full drums. got this covered, but like, so maybe this isn't exactly what I'm looking for. Just want tops. Let's look for a top. These are meant to be at 170 BPM, so that's going to sound weird because it's being slowed down so much. Nah. What? This one's got like one shaker and then a hit on the left side. No, still not ideal. That's nice. I don't like how the loop starts out though. Oh, it's just playing. Whoops. Kind of lags behind a bit. Let's pull it forward. It's not going to work unless I bring it back. It's gonna fade in. Whoa. It's gonna fade in at the beginning of the loop, so it's like that. That's the problem. So to resolve the problem, what I will do is consolidate it to just the beginning of the clip here, and it's still delayed a little bit. What I'm going to do is slice that here, and then I'm going to join these two together because there is a tiny clip here at the very end, or is there? If I move this, no. Interesting. Okay. So, general fix for this fade in here is I'm just going to slice the second half of the clip and then loop that instead. No, see, then we got that happening. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's why. Because we have the beginning of the next loop starting right before it. This back. That's pretty close, but we'll try another technique called the crossfade. Let's do a little crossfade here. Create crossfade. So now this clip will fade out as soon as this one's fading in, and they'll just blend together. It's very fast, but it should mask that transition there between the two loops. There's still a little bit of a pause, so I'm going to undo the crossfade and then bring the clip back a little bit, like that. And then create a crossfade here. Yeah, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. So then I could just take this segment and loop that crossfade here. You get the idea. Oops, that was a little bit too big of a crossfade. We want to make sure that we're crossfading in areas that aren't really loud, like aren't particularly, like we don't want it to crossfade right on a shaker hit. We want it to crossfade in this silence in between. So right about here. So it's not noticeable. Great crossfade. Nice. Here as well, I'm guessing we should do. Even though it's, yeah, it's technically just a, that was where the audio was anyway, so I don't necessarily need to make a fade there. Because you can't hear it, right? It was just sliced. Now, this one appears to have a little bit of a, okay, this one maybe we could have the crossfade be in a different spot. Reset fades. Okay. Okay. How about just one segment of it? Yeah, that's probably better. If I just take the last half and repeat that, it should line up more. And that way I could do an effect like this. Where I make it repeat faster and faster. So it'll sound something like this. Yeah. Whoops. I think I copied this part wrong. Yeah, I did. Ugh, these are wrong. Oh boy. Yeah, it needs to be a little bit forward. Ugh. These loops are so hard to get right when they're not. Like, the shaker was never aligned to begin with. I say we just kind of start fresh here. So you stay. Let's try to find the part that's the most in time. Or what we could do is warp it and sort of try and align these. Warp sample as 2-bar loop. Can we quantize? Yeah, we can quantize this. Gets rid of all the swing. Let's not quantize it 100%. Let's quantize it. So yeah, you can quantize audio as well. Guess I should mention that. And it uses these warp markers to kind of move the samples around, or move the parts of the sample around to get it to be more in time. So that should just that should have been something I did from the beginning. This way we can even commit a groove to it. Like if I go through my groove library over here and I'm like, I want this to swing. Well, I can pick a swing pattern. Let's pick 75 or 65 actually. And then I can commit the groove. You see the notes move a little bit. Oh yeah, we forgot about the whole problem with the fade in. That should be easier to solve now that everything's in time though. It's just a matter of repeating the second half of the loop again. I think it would be more consistent if I did it like this. The ending. I'm trying some creative things here. I'm trying to do some... Oh yeah, I want that second half here. I want that. Let's hear how this sounds. What about this? Slice, slice, remove. How about if they were just a little bit more forward like that? Boom, da, da, dum, da, dum. Yeah, okay, let's give that a try. Split, move that forward so we can avoid the fade in there. And I'll just use this. 2, 3, 4. Then I'll cut it like this. And then I'll make it even faster. Okay, let's hear this. There we go. There's a nice little transition with the shakers as well. Maybe right here. Probably going to move the transition effect and Massive X into their own group as well to get them out of the drums because they're kind of their own category. Yeah. I have the whole effects bank here. I'm going to make a group around this and call it SFX because I might want this to be sidechained by the kick, and if it's in the drum group, that's going to be a problem. Move this up, not into there. Jeez. So I'm going to do the one annoying thing about Ableton, and you know what? There's probably a better way to do this. I know there's a better way to do this. If I go into this view, I'm trying to grab the SFX group and move it to the top. I can just do it here in the vertical view. So I can just Move it over here. And there we go. And then we'll move, which ones? Massive X and transition effects out of here into there. Beautiful. And now the effects will be white. I like the effect tracks to be white. Cool. And now I can come up with a whole bunch of different things and combine them together in one convenient location. But yeah, so now in the project it looks like this. I'm going to make the clip white as well. Well, that makes it really hard, really difficult to see, doesn't it? Yeah, fine. Y'all are probably tired of this melody by now. I'm sorry. Let's do something with this ARP to make it transition in. So a couple parameters we can change. Yeah, it'll quickly come in like that. Reverb should come in as well. It'll start to come in the measure before. If I can get it to... There we go. So right around here, the reverb's going to come in. It should come in when the note gets longer, I think. So right there. Now there's reverb. Starts to come out. That'll be nice. And then for the chords. We just got to bring out just got to get rid of the effects that are on them. So we got to bring the filters up. So right now, what's happening is it's like transitioning between, it's jumping back and forth between the two sounds using an auto filter that's set to the shape of a square wave. So when the square wave's up, it's like up, down, up, down. It's like flipping a switch, basically. So it flips between, well, not entirely, because it doesn't go all the way down. The filter doesn't get all the way out. So if we were to solo just one, for example. That's how it sounds now, right? So a simple thing we could do right off the bat is just bring up an auto filter on this one. So let's try that. Start about here. Something else needs to come out. I believe this filter. Yeah. They don't just say Ethereal Earth. I wish that this it started at the beginning and told me what it was. And what is this? Oh yeah, that's it's like width, I think. Oh nope, that's release. This can fade in more. I'm going to use utility to do it. So, utility, because it has a gain knob that I can automate. And if I automate the level of the track itself, this gain right here, I won't be able to change it later on in the mixing process. So I like to use a utility if I'd like to create a fade in somewhere. That's if I'd like to create a fade in on a MIDI track without automating the volume. This is what I do. This also gives you some other useful things like the stereo width, making a bass or any instrument mono below a certain frequency, and a pan balance. So you could pan it left or right using this utility and not have to mess with these two with the pan control. So I'm going to create a little fade here. It'll start at -infinity and go up to 0 dB. And then we should have a nice simple fade. If I can get it to be at 0. There we go. So let's curve it a bit so it and it comes out. No, it's not. No, it's kind of tough to hear it at all. I'll kind of bump it out more so it comes out sooner. Well, this also means I can boost up the track itself, so I can go up to like -3 or something because we're fading it in. I think what I'm going to do with this section is going to be a super open chorus, like EDM, like in your face. So like here's the anthem, here's the melody that you should stick in your head, and then it's going to drop. Like that's basically what's going to happen here. So I want this to be super open and the pads to become less like affected and spacey like and having filters all over the place to more like a in your face just so we might need different sounds. In fact, I know we're going to need different sounds for that. So I'm thinking something like a super saw would be useful here. So let's find that. Also, the keywords we're thinking right now are powerful chords. That's what we want, powerful chords. So let's see. I'm going to look through old Massive because that's still got great merit to it. I've got a lot of patches in Massive that could be great use here. So this is what Massive used to look like, and still does, and is still useful. I mean, there's no reason not to use it. It's being kept alive. But yeah, let's look for some particularly powerful. We could make one, but we are kind of at the end of near the end of the stream here. So I'd like to just look for something that I could just throw in quickly as like as a starting point here. So I could just kind of randomly choose, but I'd like to go through and filter by category. So let's go ahead and look through. Synth lead actually sometimes ends up being really nice for like a powerful chord. even though they're meant to be on one note. Huge lead. How about that? See what I mean? There you go. That's a lead sound. That's a nice lead sound there, but it can also be used for chords. So. That's the idea I'm thinking. And then for the build up, what we want to do is we'll have the chords in, assume they're there. Then we'll have the bass sort of come in on this build part, because what we want to do with a build up into a bassy drop like this is we want to sort of tease the sound of the bass before it comes, because we don't want it to just be all of a sudden I mean, okay, you could, like, music rules are meant to be broken. Like, you could just all of a sudden just switch into something completely different, and whoa, all of a sudden we're here, and it's crazy bass, but and it's unexpected, which might be cool if executed right. But what I like to do is I like to fade in or somewhat filter in the bass in some fashion so that you can hear the sound of the bass before it gets to the actual drop, and that might also involve using some, like, during our open chorus section, bam, whoa, whoa, like maybe bam, whoa, whoa, whoa. There could be like a bass stab at the beginning of each chord, so that you hear segments of the bass before it starts to make its own rhythm. Or in our build up, so it goes in the background, the bass goes, it just starts to come in itself, right? It starts to fade in, starts to filter in, and then make this repeating fast, like sort of like this would happen with it, right? So it would start out as quarter notes, or start as eighth notes. Imagine this would be like the bass sound. Wow, no, no. Oh no no! Wow 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 wow! Drop. You see, so this is gonna be kind of occurring all over the place. I've got it occurring here with the shaker, and then the bass leading into. Yeah, and so on and so forth. Okay. Let's tame the chord sound a bit so that we could perhaps record it in before we reach the 130 mark here. So I'd like to tame it, because it is kind of taking up the entire frequency space, and we do have this lead to contend with, the lead melody to contend with. So let's quickly look at as an entirety the frequencies that make up this lead, and I'm sure it's going to be all of them, right? Let's take a look. So we're looking at our lead group, and let's look at the frequencies. Of course, it's cutting off beyond 10K because I have this auto filter in there. So if we were to bring that up, yeah, it's pretty much the entire frequency spectrum. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, cut out the low end. We don't need it there. We've got a sub for that, we've got bass notes for that, and we will add both of those in. There. And now it's like super open, or it's filtered up, so it's good. and we are looking at mostly frequencies around the 5 to 1K range, and yeah, lots of energy right now, but I want to leave this particular area open. Okay, let's go in and before anything, let's add an EQ. Put out the low end. And then we're gonna go in here where the details were in our other patch, like above 1K. So we have our frequencies mostly here. We can do another cut as well, and 2. Don't want to do it too much. We also want to actually boost that up some, and then cut out a lot around here, around the past 1K range. Trying to make it not sound too nasally, so maybe I need to cut it. Okay, now we can clean it up inside the patch as well. Let's get a pattern in, and then we'll change the notes to appropriate ones. 3, 3, 4, 3, 4. Okay, I need to hear everything. I need to have this not soloed. Something like that. All right. 2, 3, 4. And there it is. There's the build-up right there. It's really, really short. It's not gonna be much time at all. Go right into it. Like one time through, and then immediately start building up. It's gonna be really fast-paced. So first thing I'm going to do is change this chord. I meant for this to be a C major 7 instead of a instead of a B major 7 or B minor 7. Yeah, it's a B minor 7. Oops. And this is a C minor 7 right now. So I need to be a C major 7, so let's move this up and this up. And then this needs to be a E major 7 here. D major, D flat dominant 7th here. Whoops. Oops. I got it wrong. It's supposed to be there. But I'm thinking about this. I want it to happen on... Okay, I got it. It's going to happen here. And then here. So, ba, 2, 3, 4, ba, bum, ba, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, bum, bum, bum. Bum, 1, boo, 1, bum, bum, ba, 2, build, 2, 3, 4, drop. So. Yeah. And we shall continue that. Actually, there's one more thing I want to do. One more thing I want to do because I've got the idea now and I'm not going to let it go because I'll lose it. So let's take in, let's use the congas here. Also, let's add in the bass. So how exactly do I want to do this? You know, I'll deal with that next time because there's going to be lots of particular things with how that's going to be brought in and many options as to how it can be brought in. So I've got to decide. But this is just, you know, bring in the loop and we can use some way of bringing it in. I'm thinking we could use like a delay and then have it fade in from a washed out version. Washed out meaning fully mixed into reverb. So like, let's see. So what I want to do is turn up all the way. And I want to use diffusion. Loop. I'm going to loop this section. I said I'm going to loop this section. Definitely going to need an EQ after that reverb because it's adding in a lot of low end. Don't want that. But then again, it is kind of taking the entire low end of that conga and reverberating it. So perhaps I can I change the color of this? No, I cannot. And perhaps it could also filter in. So it'll have a filter here. I know there's an EQ right afterwards, but the EQ is meant to not move. But I could just like sweep in a high pass with the EQ by modulating this frequency knob. But I like to leave the EQs unmodulated because I find them as sort of like things you would put on to the end of sounds to clean them up and to kind of put them in their place. You know what I mean? So I don't want it to be as an effect, but you can obviously use it as an effect. You can modulate any of these knobs with macros and such and automation, and you can do whatever you want. But I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to bring in an auto filter. I'm going to start it up high, and then I just want it to come in like that, right? So coming from high frequencies and reverb. So let's quickly grab the parameter here. We want the mix. We want that to come down. And then we want the frequency of the auto filter to also come down. So we'll get a sound like, okay, let's have it come down over the entire length. Like that. I can even fade, curve that a little bit so the filter comes in a bit faster. Yeah, it just comes out from being washed out, right? And then I could of course make the opposite motion to come out of this loop being there. So I might even want to do this faster so that the drums come in right there, and that the reverb starts to fade out immediately and reaches 0 there, so that we hear a bit of the drums. Hear the wash up closer to the end. I don't know. It's not exactly the loudest right now. We're gonna have to do some mixing to bring this part out, but because there's like right now the chord and the lead sound are kind of taking over in terms of volume, so we need to do some mixing. Like I said, again, I'm repeating myself, but you know, rather than try to boost the crap out of this, excuse my language, boost the heck out of, crap's not a bad word. Why are we trying to censor ourselves? But yeah, we'll figure this out. But that's gonna be in there, and we'll be able to hear it. So, on that note, come back tomorrow. We will be continuing this exact process, making this song great, and making these transitions clean, and doing some pretty in-depth stuff. I'm hoping tomorrow we can get a fully functioning build-up and have a pretty solid little intro there, and we could try to fuse the two sections and kind of make them agree a little bit better, because right now we've got like two different ideas. We got a crazy drop, and then we have this super open chorus, and then we have this super weird spacey sort of filtered beginning section, and I want to work on getting them to be coherent and transition smoothly, and hopefully you could take the concepts of the stuff that I'm doing and apply it to like especially the transition stuff, like using filters and repeating the clips and all that. Like that stuff you can apply to any track. You can cut up, like if you're trying to transition from one section to another. Like there's a lot of nuance with that, and a lot of options. Like how do you do it? How would it sound best? That's up to you. But I'm hopefully I can help by showing you how I do it. Anyways, yeah, I'll be back here tomorrow 11:30, and